Providing liquidity for the cryptocurrencies that you already own may seem like a great opportunity to make some extra money. But it's not all straightforward, and there are quite high risks involved in it, which I think the majority of people at the beginning don't realize. So in this video I will explain to you what providing liquidity means, how to do it. We'll talk about advantages, disadvantages, and also risks that are involved into it. You can provide liquidity on different platforms, but in this particular video I will show you the example of how you can do it on Pancake Swap. So if you want to know the answers to all these questions, then please keep watching. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anastasia. On this channel I talk about investing, and especially investing for beginners. I never thought that this channel is going to be so popular for cryptocurrencies, and I never thought that I will be talking about cryptocurrencies that much, but it seems like it's a mainstream right now and everybody's talking about it, and it seems to me that there are big opportunities in it. And even though I bought my first crypto a long time ago, I've never really done anything with it, and for a long time I thought that all you can do is maybe trade or obviously sell and get some fiat money back. But nowadays I see all these new opportunities. You can provide liquidity, you can do yield farming, you can stake your cryptocurrency, so you can do so many things with your crypto. And it seems like I'm missing out on the opportunity because I'm not doing that. On top of that, so many people commented under my videos saying that staking is not enough, because I made a video about staking cake on Pancake Swap, and if you haven't seen it you can click this link here. So people started commenting saying I'm not only staking but I'm also providing liquidity, and then with my LP tokens I'm farming as well, and this is bringing me passive income, and I'm up for passive income. Of course, this is the main idea of me investing. I don't want to work and I don't want to care about money at all, so passive income would be ideal. And it seems like providing liquidity is something that people do with the hope to get some passive income. So I looked closer at this option and I understood that that's something that I am not prepared to do, but I definitely understand how it works, and I might even invest a little bit into it just for the purpose of creating this video and for the content. But in this video I want to share with you the main information that you need to know before you decide to start providing liquidity anywhere on any platform. So let's start. So first of all, of course, you have to understand what providing liquidity is. And I think the easiest way to understand it is to compare it to a normal bank. We know how normal banks work, and imagine that you go to a bank and you want to exchange, for example, pounds for dollars. You come to the bank, but the bank says, well, I have no dollars. That means that you cannot exchange your pounds, and that means that bank is also losing out on some profits, because the bank cannot charge you the commission they usually would if they had some dollars to exchange. Now, where do usual banks get their money from? There is a central bank, and central bank is present in every country, in England and the US, in every country of the world. And this central bank is the main institution that controls the money in the country, controls how much money the country has. If they think that there is not enough money, they can print more, and this is what the majority of banks did in 2020. They can regulate the interest rate, they regulate the commissions. The central bank is the main institution, and that's why it's called central. But with cryptocurrencies it is different, because as we know, cryptocurrency is decentralized. So they don't have this main institution like central bank that controls everything, because it is decentralized, right? So everyone has the same rights, everybody's equal. This is the main idea behind crypto on the first place. So all these platforms, exchange platforms like Pancake Swap, Uniswap, SushiSwap, whatever, how do they get this money in the first place? Where do they get the currency? Where do they get the tokens, the coins from, to be able to exchange them for other tokens? From nowhere. And this is where they need someone to lend them these coins, to be able to swap them, to be able to exchange them in case someone wants to exchange their coins on this particular platform. And as we all already know, when we want to exchange a coin for a coin on any platform, we have to pay some fees. So obviously that platform itself, let's take Pancake Swap for an example. This is where the profits come from these commissions. So the more transactions are made, the better it is for the platform. That's why what they do is they share this commission with people who lend them these tokens to be able to use them in case someone comes to them and asks to make the exchange. So going back to the example of a normal bank. So say you come with pounds and you want to exchange them for dollars, but the bank doesn't have any dollars. So what the bank does is go into the third person and says, can you provide the liquidity for me? So can you lend me some dollars? Can I borrow from you some dollars? And I'm gonna use these dollars to exchange these dollars for pounds. I'm gonna charge the first person some commission, and I will give you a part of this commission for giving me your dollars. It doesn't mean that you give away these tokens for free forever. No, you can at any time come and say, I need my money back. So the platform or the bank, it doesn't matter how you look at it. So for example, Pancake Swap, they will give you your money back, but at the end of all of this process, you will end up having more tokens than at the beginning, because whilst the platform was using your tokens for providing the liquidity, you were also paid some commission. And once you provided the liquidity as a proof that you gave these tokens, that you own these tokens and you can take them back at any point, you are given a separate token which is called an LP token. So an LP token is like a document, is like a proof, a certificate that you provided the liquidity and you are the owner of those tokens that are used by the platform until you decide to withdraw them. Okay, so this is the general idea of providing the liquidity. And this idea seems genius at the beginning, because if you already have these tokens, then why not use them? Especially if you are not planning on doing anything special with them and you're just holding them long term. If you believe that the price will go up in the future and you are not going to sell it, then you might as well get some extra income by providing the liquidity. But there are some risks that are involved in this whole activity that we will talk about now. So the first and the main risk of providing the liquidity is called the impermanent loss. And it's quite a scary name. When I read it first time, I thought it sounded as if I can lose more money than what I invested, and I couldn't understand how it's possible. So yeah, it is impossible. You cannot lose more money than what you invested. But what it means essentially is that by providing the liquidity, you always depend on the price of two currencies. If you just buy a crypto, then you depend on the price of this particular crypto. Say, for example, if I bought Litecoin, I want the price of Litecoin to go up, and if it goes down, then I lose money. But I don't depend on any other cryptocurrencies on the market. When you provide the liquidity, it always comes in a pair. So you cannot provide the liquidity just for Litecoin. It always has to be a pair. So for example, Litecoin and Cake, or BNB and Cake. So you automatically double your risks straight away, because now you depend on the price of both tokens. On top of that, you want them to move whether down or up more or less at the same time. Because if, and this is what impermanent loss is about, if the price of one token goes up and the other token goes down, you will end up losing money. And I think to explain the impermanent loss, I need to make another video, because it's quite difficult to understand, and I'm not sure if it's so important to understand, especially for the beginners. But what you have to understand is that you essentially will depend on both currencies, and you want them to move together up or down. You don't want the difference in price of those two tokens to change, because if it does and you decide to withdraw your tokens and stop providing the liquidity, you will end up with less money than what you could get if you just sold these tokens. Because this is another thing that you have to remember. At the end of the day, what's important is how much money, how much fiat money you will get for each token. Because I find it quite hard to bring myself back to the reality that it's all about fiat money at the end of the day. It's all nice to have all these different tokens and simplified, gamified websites, different ideas about how you can make passive income, but at the end of the day, what's important is how much money you can get, fiat money you can get, once you sell your cryptocurrencies. And the impermanent loss would essentially show you the difference between the profit that you made if you never provided the liquidity and just sold your cryptocurrencies straight away, exchanged it for the fiat money, or you sold it after providing the liquidity. Now let's talk about the money that you can make if you provide the liquidity. It depends from the platform that you provide the liquidity on, but as I said, we will look at Pancake Swap in particular. And it doesn't really matter because all the platforms, they use the same sort of system, so it works the same way, it's just the percentages may be different. You are not the only person who provides the liquidity on this particular platform. There are many people, and all of the tokens together that people lended to this particular platform creates a pool, and you own a certain percentage of this pool. So for example, 10 people provided 10 tokens each. There are 100 tokens in this particular pool, and each person owns 10% of the pool. Every time a transaction made, so every time someone comes to the platform and says, I want to make the swap, I want to exchange some tokens, and the platform uses the tokens from this pool to process this transaction, each person that participates in this particular pool gets paid, and each person gets paid a certain percentage of the total commission that the platform charged this third person. Each person gets his share based on how big a percentage, how big a share of this pool belongs to this particular person. So let's look at the example on Pancake Swap. If you go to their homepage, the first thing that you have to click is Trade, and here you see this tab, Liquidity. Obviously, you have to connect your wallet as always so that Pancake Swap can see which tokens and how many of each tokens you have, so how many tokens you can use to provide the liquidity. But in any case, you have to click the Add Liquidity button, and here you can choose the currency and you can choose how many tokens you want to lend. The most common bases are BNB, BUSD, Cake and BTCB. And of course, in an ideal world, you want to choose two stable currencies, those currencies that will not change the price massively, especially against each other. So you can choose, for example, BNB and, for example, Cake, and you see that by adding liquidity, you'll earn 0.17% of all trades on this pair proportional to your share of the pool. So what's important to understand here is that your profit will be proportional to your share of the pool, and you will not receive this money somewhere at a separate account or in a separate token. It will all be automatically re-added to the pools. It will be only added to the tokens that you gave to this platform, and then eventually when you decide to withdraw it, this is when you will see that you now receive more tokens than you originally gave. And what's important to understand, and never let it leave your head, is that there are three currencies involved. Three, always three. Because what they show you is Cake per BNB, of course, because you provide the liquidity in these two currencies, so Cake and BNB. So it shows you how many BNB per Cake you can get and so on. But the third currency that is included is fiat currency. This is what I was talking about earlier in the video. You always have to remember and never lose this thought that your final goal is to get as much dollars or pounds or euros, whatever your currency is, as much as you can. At the end of the day, you don't care, you might get a million cakes, but if a million cake is worth only $10 and you originally invested 100, and this is what can happen with cryptos, millions of coins may be worth nothing when it comes to fiat currencies. So all of this that they are trying to share here, trying to show you, is a little bit irrelevant. You always have to remember and maybe even write it down, because I find it quite hard as well to find on these different websites, especially when you're using different websites. You find it hard to remember how much actual money you invested. If you remember how much money you invested, you always have to go back to this number and see whether you're making a profit or you're making a loss, because at the end of the day, that's what's important. Okay, so after you do that with your LP tokens, there are other things that you can do. You can use your LP tokens to get even more money, for example, by doing yield farming, but this is a topic for another video. I hope you understand now the general idea about providing the liquidity. The most importantly is that you understand the risks that are involved, and if you do, then you can decide whether that's something for you or not. For me, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not going to do it because I think you have to be very lucky. There are so many different factors factors that you depend on, but you cannot control, that if these factors go wrong and not in your favor, you end up losing money. So I'm not prepared to take this risk, but you may be ready to do it, and if you do, then good luck to you. Anyway, let me know in the comments if providing the liquidity is something that you do or not, or if it's something that you're planning to do or not. And from my side, that's it for today. Thank you so much, guys, for your time and attention today, and I'll see you in my next videos. Bye bye.